It's time for Top of the Stack. This week on Top of the Stack, we're covering comics for June 10th, 2015. Remember, I get mine in the mail, so I'll be a little bit behind, so there won't be any spoilers if you picked yours up the week they came out. First up, we got Nameless by Grant Morrison, art by Chris Burnham. This is number 4 in a trippy, crazy comic that at first you have no idea what's going on with this. Is this a weird alien thing? Is it a drug thing? Is this a horror comic? Is it a sci-fi comic? You just don't have any clue what's going on. This one, you kind of get a better idea, but at the same time, there's still some crazy shit going on. Starts out with our main character, Nameless, rolling down a hill in his astronaut suit. He gets to the bottom and he starts crawling as these other astronauts are falling and hitting the ground. Their heads are exploding and splitting apart. He continues crawling towards this big black open door, and somebody reaches out for him and pulls him in as the door caves in and they're blocked into this big cavernous area, and it happens to be Sophia, one of the other astronauts. Now, after they get together, he notices that her tank is quite a bit lower than his as far as oxygen, and he thinks that there might be a leak. She starts freaking out, talking about, well, these suits are made to help us not hallucinate, so if I am hallucinating, it must be real. She continues to try to get people on her comms, looking for her dad back at the base, and she can't get anybody. Finally, she gets somebody, and it's her dad. But as we see, he's been totally mutated into this weird demonic monster thing. And Nameless knows that that's what's happening. He tells her to get off the comms. We got to get out of here. And all of a sudden, we see that this froth stuff, these big bulging sacs, are alive and they're coming towards them. And that's when we go to a flashback of Sophia. And she's in a psychiatrist's office, and they're talking about her dad and her parents and how he always wanted a son, but her twin brother died in the womb and he never had a name. And he says, well, if he always wanted a son, he must be depressed because you're sitting here crying like a little baby. Boys never cry. Your brother never cried once. And he has this weird, creepy smile on his face, and you know that this is like some weird hallucination. Flashback, she's all mutated and melting. Then Nameless has a flashback where he's sitting on the beach talking about how he can't believe you're having a kid. We don't need kids. This world is already overpopulated and super uneducated. And then you flash out, he's getting all melty and mutated, and it's just a crazy, weird comic, strange art. Finally, to end off the comic, he wakes up. He's in his normal looking area, normal city, in a doctor's office. They're taking these bandages off his face, and that woman's sitting right next to him, and he's talking about what happened with the asteroid, and everything's fine. And he goes, but I know what's going to happen, and she says, no, listen, you were possessed by an alien, and you killed 13 people in this house. That happened at the beginning, and I totally forgot about this. He says, well, I learned something. This place is gonna be destroyed, and look outside. Asteroids are falling down. The city's being destroyed. People are turning on each other, killing each other, raping each other. It's just crazy. Weird way to end a comic. Weird issue altogether. Weird series. But me personally, I'm actually liking it pretty good. I mean, you're kind of like, what's going on? But then you kind of know. So as far as rating this one, Nameless, number 4. I'm going to give this one a Christian Bale. Up next, we have Constantine The Hellblazer, number 1. Constantine is back with a new creative team. And not only a new creative team, new art, new story, new vibe. This one is written by Ming Doyle and James Tynion IV. It starts out with Constantine all bloody inside this store, and he's asking, he tricks this woman into letting him change there, while this ghost Gaz is talking to him, which we know from the previous comics, the originals, that this was one of his former friends and bandmates, and he's just a ghost that follows him around as well as all these other ghosts. And he starts walking down the road and he makes it to a bar, starts flirting with this bartender guy who's apparently famous. And then all of a sudden, this woman, demonic looking woman called the Blythe, starts talking to him and says, I need your help. I need you to come with me. So he comes with her to her little art house that she calls Inferno. They're like having sex and everything. Somebody walks in on them. They stop. She starts taking him through her entire setup, which is 9 different floors set up just like Dante's Inferno in the Divine Comedy. You have everything from limbo all the way to treachery. As they're going through the floor, she's kind of, telling him, what's going on, what's going, he keeps making all these jokes about these little people. Oh, is that them? Are these the ones you're having trouble with? And, she just says, no, we're having a problem with these imps eating our customers. And no, these are not the ones. So, they finally get down and we notice that it's Haluk who we come up to. And he's like, I see what's going on. This is your business partner. And you're a demon, and you can't expel him back to hell, because if you do, you're going with him. I don't want any part of this. But Haluk is not having any part of it either. He like hulks up, grabs Constantine. So Constantine, being a bright man, he starts trying to cast this demon out. Forgets the last sentence. Does not know what to say. Blythe steps in, says the last sentence, and she's thanking him and all this, and he says, well, don't thank me because I didn't cast him out. You're the one who said the sentence. She ends up getting cast down with him. And there's Constantine stuck all by himself with all these ghosts surrounding him. And Gaz is there and says, hey, I need to talk to you about Frank. He's gone. His soul was ripped apart, and whoever's doing it is coming after all of your ghost friends. And that's how that issue ended. I thought it was a pretty good first issue. Looking forward to more. But the art, I'm not sure about that. I want to see where this is going to go with the art. But for this first issue, being a new run of Constantine, taking on a different, a darker, more gritty vibe, I'm going to give this one a Michael Keaton. Last to be reviewed on top of the stack is The Wicked and Divine, number 11. This one starts out with Laura, our main protagonist girl, walking home, snapping her fingers, trying to get that stuff to make fire like it did after Lucifer died. Gets home and she's just saying like, well, I'm stupid. I'm never going to quit doing this. I'm going to get calluses. I'm never going to give up on Lucifer. I'm never going to give up on any of these gods. They're not going to last long. They only live 2 years, so I'm going to make, their outcome as best as it can be. And then we flash over to Ainana's house where he's singing, having a big after party. And we see Baphomet up in the rafters looking down on him, being told to kill him, take his years so you can live longer. And he decides to. He goes down. They start fighting. Big fight breaks out. Baphomet puts Ainana up on an upside down cross and then blows his whole house up. Flashback to Laura and Ananke's there. And she's like, what are you doing here? And she's saying like, you've always been there. I've been looking for you for so long. And then Laura's like, I've always wanted to be a god, but I never will. And then she says, oh, but you are of the Pantheon. And there she goes. Falling down. The words are being said about her. And as she comes to, she is Persephone. She's become the god she's always wanted. Ananke once says, why don't you sing? Now that you're a god, you can sing. She starts singing. She talks about how happy she is and this is the best day of her life. And all of a sudden, Ananke snaps her fingers. Laura's parents run out and say, what are you doing? What's this fire? Is that a body in the fire? She killed Laura. She looks at the family and says, something to the effect of, she doesn't always kill people who don't need it, but this is one of those times. Blows up their whole house. They're dead. And that's how this issue ends. Our main protagonist looks like she's dead. Her family is dead. It was a crazy issue. My pick of the week, Wicked and the Divine, number 11 by Kieran Gillen, Jamie McKelvey, and Matthew Wilson on the colors. Great issue. Really love this. This issue is getting a Christian Bale. But that's not all. I wanted to give one honorable mention to Roche Limit, Clandestiny, number 2. Story's really opening up. This isn't going to be a full review. Just want to let you know that this was a good issue this week. Almost made it on the list, but with those 3 issues, I really like them. This has to be on the honorable mentions. If you did not read Roche Limit, the first series, it's kind of Blade Runner-esque. This one is completely different. Takes place in on the planet surface with forests and caves and aliens and robots. I mean, it's pretty good. Roche Limit Clandestiny number 2 on the honorable mentions list. That's it for Top of the Stack this week. What did you think? Did you read these comics? Did I score them the way you would have? What did you read and what would you have given those? Let me know in the comments below and I will get back to each and every one of you. Remember, follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Geek'dUpTV. That's Geek'dUpTV. Or find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Geek'dUpTweets. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below and share this with your friends. And always stay geeked up and always hug a xenomorph. Hi, hello, my name is Max. It's been 30 years, but bitch, I'm back in the wasteland to get a taste of home. I've been with Furiosa down a furious road. This is the weekly pull for June 10th, 2015, and we're going to see what I received in the mail this week. First up, we got Batman number 40.